Now we return to local news with Malcolm.
Beauticians are enjoying the sweet taste of success after 2 Enfield salons were named among the best in the country. Pure Hair and Beauty in Windmill Hill beat off stiff competition to be named Best Salon in London during this year's English Hair and Beauty Awards. Owner Taz Pantelli said she's delighted the salon has won such a well-recognised award and is looking forward to competing again next year. He said added extras included treating customers to hand massages when they're having their hair cut, help the salon stand out from the crowd and grab the gold. The salon, set up 3 years ago, was first voted among the top 5 salons in London by customers before judges selected the winner through video applications. Another Enfield salon, James Whittaker Hair in Forty Hill, was named the best hair salon in the country in this year's awards. Salon Emma Clare Hair and Beauty in Enfield Town was also shortlisted in the top 5 salons in London thanks to a high number of customer votes. Owners of hair and beauty salons came from across the country to hear the winners being announced during a black tie ceremony in Manchester on Sunday, March the 3rd.
The dementia service in Chase Farm Hospital is in the running to receive a 50 million cash boost from the Department of Health. The current service at the hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield, impressed the Department of Health with plans for a dementia hub, which would improve current facilities for dementia patients by building a library, a cafe, as well as more treatment rooms. A total of 147 projects applied for the money that Enfield's Dementia Service, run by Enfield and Haringey Mental Health NHS Trust, was told on Monday that it was one of 42 projects to make it to the final stages. Alan Beaton, the Assistant Director for Dementia Services, said to win the funding would be great news for people with dementia and their families in Enfield. We'd be able to offer a much wider range of services and a tremendous support network for people with dementia and their family carers. Ultimately, this funding could have an extremely positive impact on dementia facilities and services in Enfield, so we'll be doing everything we can to give us the best chance of success.
Men are being urged to take control of their health by getting themselves checked out for early signs of prostate cancer. According to research by BMI King's Oak Hospital in the Ridgeway, 23% of men in Enfield are unaware of the symptoms of the condition, which include having difficulty urinating, a weak urine flow, or going to the toilet more frequently at night. Consultants are encouraging people to take a blood test at the hospital during Prostate Cancer Awareness Month to put their mind at ease. Mr. Faiz Mumtaz, consultant urologist at BMI King's Oak Hospital, said, "When it comes to prostate cancer, it's always better to be safe than sorry. As men get older, their risk of prostate cancer increases, so men over 50 should be particularly proactive when it comes to detecting the disease, and a simple blood test could help them to do this."
A popular member of a Bush Hill Park community has died at the age of 82 following a short illness. Alan Thorndyke, who was born in Edmonton, was a keen ballroom dancer and met his wife Iris after taking it up in the 1950s. The couple married in 1956 and their daughter Joan was born 3 years later. Mr. Thorndyke, whose wife died in 1993, went on to have an active retirement. He flew for the first time at the age of 68, taking a trip to Taiwan that he had won as part of a shortwave radio competition. Mr. Thorndyke of Gardenia Road helped start Edmonton Cycling Club and regularly took part in the London to Cambridge and London to Southend rides. He was a member of a Bush Hill Park Residents Association and the Enfield Over 50s Forum. Joan said, "After my mum died, he developed a very busy social life and made lots of friends. He was very well liked and travelled to lots of places. I also made him go back to ballroom dancing, which was how he met my mum.
I knew he was very active, but I didn't know how popular he was. It is nice to know people took him to heart. Mr. Thorndyke went to Latimer School in Hazelbury Road, Edmonton, and worked as an electrician for his father before getting a job with Ferguson. And I went on a bike ride with him to Saffron Walden a couple of years ago.
Okay, a little bit of rugby. Saracens' dreams of completing an unprecedented treble came to an end on Sunday when they were beaten 21-15 at Sale in the semi-finals of what we think is the London Victoria Cup. It just says here LV and an equal sign. With the advantage of a strong wind at their backs in the first half, a largely second-string Sarries side, who are currently top of the Aviva Premiership and have a home quarter-final to look forward to in the Heineken Cup, opened up a 12-11 lead at the interval, courtesy of 4 Ben Spencer penalties. A further Spencer penalty saw them extend their advantage just after the hour, but, unlike in recent weeks, they were unable to turn their pressure into tries and were made to pay as Sale grabbed 10 unanswered points in the final 13 minutes to secure victory. "We're obviously very disappointed with the result," said young fullback Ben Ransom. "When you lose a semi-final, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. I thought the guys played really well, but in the last third, Sale had some luck, which ultimately swung the game in their favour. Despite the result and the obvious disappointment, I thoroughly enjoyed it out there. It was a good game, and it's just unfortunate that we couldn't get through to the final." Meanwhile, long-serving centre Adam Powell has left the club with immediate effect to join Championship leaders Newcastle. Powell, who started on Sunday, made 135 appearances in 8 years, but a combination of a succession of injuries and the emergence of Joel Tompkins had led to his first-team opportunities becoming increasingly limited. And then Enfield Ignatian's 4-match winning streak came to a frustrating end as Emil Hertz's side were beaten 23-15 at Chelmsford. Playing down the pronounced Coronation Park slope in the first half, Enfield needed to build up a sizable advantage. Tom Moore and Danilo Micha both scored tries for the visitors, one of which was converted by Jordan Wilson, but they also wasted good opportunities. Ignatian squandered 3 prime pushover attempts as well as overhitting 2 kicks, which should have set up catch-and-drive attempts. Even when Chelmsford had their hooker Sinbind, the blue and golds failed to cash in. Chelmsford, having scored late in the first half via Josh Clark, successfully turned the screw in the second period. They went over 3 times in quick succession to go ahead. Paul Redford, 2, and Sebastian Hill touched down for the hosts, and Enfield were also punished by a successful penalty from Simon Holt. Ignatians defended strongly as Chelmsford applied constant pressure. Enfield gained their only points in the second half from the boot of Wilson. Hertz said, "Losing the toss was decisive and we needed to get 18 to 20 points on the board in the first half. However, Chelmsford took an enormous amount of heart from their first half try and we struggled to get out of our own half in the second period. The pressure was constant, but we defended brilliantly at times." Ignatians are next in action when they host Saffron Walden on March the 23rd.
The child has been rehomed after being abandoned by a foster carer on a bus in Enfield. Police were called to Bull Lane, Edmonton, just after 2 p.m. on Friday, March the 1st, after the child's foster carer alerted police that she'd left the youngster in the pushchair on a 491 bus. The child was given a check-up at North Middlesex Hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, before being handed back to Haringey Social Services, which has since rehoused the toddler with a new foster family. A Haringey Council spokesman confirmed that the authority was investigating and added, "The welfare and protection of all children in care is our number 1 priority." As soon as this incident came to light, steps were immediately taken to arrange a new fostering placement for the child. Inquiries are continuing and there have been no arrests. Poor child.
A man has been charged with throwing a banana at Spurs star Gareth Bale during their North London derby victory over Arsenal. Thomas Flint, 23, of Brantwood Gardens, Enfield, is due to appear at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court on April the 12th, charged with throwing a missile onto the playing area under the Football Offences Act. He was also charged with using threatening or abusive language or disorderly behaviour likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress under the Public Order Act. The incident happened during the match at White Hart Lane on Sunday, March the 3rd, as the Wales midfielder was about to take a corner. Spurs were victorious in the derby, beating their North London rivals 2-1.
A senior councillor claims people are not listening to major development plans for the North Circular Road. Concerns were raised during a planning meeting on Thursday that current facilities, including schools and community centres, will not cope with the influx of people if 1,300 homes are built in the area stretching from Southgate to Edmonton. Although there are plans to build a community centre in the Ladderswood estate in New Southgate, campaigners believe more infrastructure is needed in order to build a community. However, Councillor Del Goddard, Cabinet Member for Business and Regeneration, told the Enfield Independent, "Those discussions seem to keep coming up, and I don't think people are listening." He said, "The problem seems to be that people don't quite realise it is too early for plans for community facilities to be set in stone." The Labour councillor who represents Palmer's Green said community facilities will be looked at under the Housing Association's Section 106 agreement, in which money is ring-fenced to improve infrastructure around an area. He said the issue is something that needs to be considered borough-wide, not just in the area covered by the North Circular. Original plans to build 2,000 properties, 305 of which by Notting Hill Housing Association, were cut following concerns surrounding density. Following Enfield Borough's school expansion programme, he insisted, "We know we have enough places to meet demand of new children moving to the borough." He admitted the council has got to keep examining the issue of parking, as people living in the area have complained the plans do not provide enough spaces. Campaigner Simon Bliss from the Broomfield Road Residents Association addressed the packed hall at Trinity at Bowes Methodist Church in Palmer's Green last Thursday and said people in the area are not idiots and no development is needed. However, he said, developers should work with people in the community rather than alienate them, and calls for greater infrastructure should be addressed. He said cutting 700 houses from the original plans will simply mean people are crammed in like pilchards rather than sardines.
3 people had a lucky escape from a house fire after a man was woken as he felt his feet beginning to burn. The house in Fox Lane, Southgate, was not fitted with a smoke alarm, and the sleeping man was only awoken by the heat as the fire took hold late last Wednesday. He escaped the property before calling the fire brigade just after 9:50 p.m. to rescue an elderly couple sleeping inside. Firefighters battled through the fire to drag the man and woman to safety. The couple were later treated for smoke inhalation. Watch manager Sammy Goldbrum of Southgate Fire Station was at the scene. He said crews worked very hard to get the man and the elderly woman out safely. The house was very smoky, and they did very well in challenging conditions. He advised householders to fit smoke detectors that would alert them to fires far sooner, adding, "Smoke alarms will alert you to a fire very quickly, giving you time to escape and call the fire brigade. They take only moments to fit, and they could save your life." The fire was brought under control at 22:45 p.m, and its cause is under investigation.
A father found guilty of sexually abusing his daughter and raping his stepdaughter has been jailed for 18 years. His victims watched as the man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was led silently from the dock in Wood Green Crown Court in Lordship Lane last Friday. The sexual predator was found guilty last month of 9 counts of sexual abuse and rape against the girls who were both under 13 in the 1980s. The man, who has since remarried, sexually assaulted his stepdaughter when his younger daughter was watching television in the same room. When his stepdaughter left home to escape his clutches, he started sexually abusing his daughter in their Edmonton home. During sentencing, his daughter became emotional and had to leave the courtroom as she heard Judge Rosa Dean decide her father's fate. The jury were unanimous in finding the man guilty of all counts last month following his week-long trial. He was remanded in custody to give the victims a chance to attend his sentencing and was told by the judge to expect a very lengthy jail sentence. His mother-in-law, who cannot be named to protect the victim's anonymity, told the Enfield Independent she was pleased justice had been done, and she added that she wished the man had been sentenced for much longer.
Campaigners refusing to back down over plans for a major housing development in Cockfosters are setting up an urgent meeting to talk tactics. Enfield Borough Council last week waved through developer L&Q's plans to demolish Middlesex University buildings in Cat Hill to make way for 232 homes. Kim Coleman, who has led the campaign against development for 2 years, is calling for people to attend a meeting in Vita Pax Roman Catholic Church in Bramley Road on Thursday, March the 21st at 7:30 p.m. She said, "We are not giving up. The fight back starts here. If L&Q thought we were going to lie down and take it, they are in a bit of a surprise. They are in for a bit of a surprise. The residents are so angry. You walk up the street in Cockfosters and you find people talking about it constantly. People feel betrayed." Dr. Coleman urged people to write to the Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, to encourage him to block the developers from building the homes. She has been in talks with lawyers about how the campaigners can continue the fight, which she will discuss during next week's meeting. Although she said she cannot reveal how the group plans to fight the proposals before she discusses them with the residents at the meeting, she promised campaigners would not give up. Despite L&Q being given the go-ahead from the council, Dr. Coleman remains very hopeful the campaign will be a success and the development will not be built. L&Q Land and Projects Director Andy Rowland told the Enfield Independent last week he was pleased the plans had been approved and said the developers look forward to working with the council, with the residents and other stakeholders.
Football. Enfield Town were frustrated in their attempts to take to the field on Saturday as their scheduled Ryman Premier Division match at Hampton and Richmond Borough fell victim to a waterlogged pitch. Steve Newing's men were looking to bounce back from a previous undeserved 1-0 defeat at home to Concord Rangers, but persistent rain throughout Friday led to the match being called off on Saturday morning. However, the postponement could come as a bit of a blessing in disguise for Town, as key attacking duo Adam Wallace and Scott McGleish, who have played a vital role in their resurgence since the turn of the year, were set to be sidelined through injury. The pair were both forced off during the second half against Concord, with Wallace suffering a knee problem and McGleish pulling a hamstring. In a way, I wasn't that disappointed that the game was called off, because we were going to be without Scott and Adam, manager Newing said. Scott pulled a hamstring and will probably be out for about 3 weeks, while Adam jarred his knee. Thankfully, it looks as if Adam suffered bruising and swelling rather than anything more serious, and he should be back in a couple of weeks. Adam and Scott have been a big part of our attacking play, and them being out will affect the dynamics of a side because we haven't really got like-for-like replacements for either of them. We have got good players who can come into the team, but we will just have to alter things around a bit. Despite last Tuesday's defeat, when Town produced what Newing felt was their best performance of the season, their good recent run has seen them climb 11 points clear of the relegation zone, and the manager is hoping that they can get back to winning soon. We want to finish the season as strongly as possible. We're 15th at the moment, and we don't want to end up any lower than that. We've given ourselves a real chance to stay in this league, but we know it's not over yet.
Enfield's 2 youth parliament members said they wanted to give the borough's young people a voice as they attended a reception hosted by Mayor Kate Unaloo on Friday. Giles Aben, 18, and Jake Oros, 17, were joined at the reception at Enfield Civic Centre by deputy members Yusuf Alawode, 17, who goes to Enfield Grammar School in Marketplace, Enfield, and Chauncey White, 17. I think young people have a bad reputation in London since situations like the London riots in 2011, said Giles, a student at St Ignatius College in Turkey Street, Enfield. I want to empower youths to show them in a positive light and build a bridge with the older generation. Giles uses social media such as Twitter to communicate with young people and is considering creating a website to enable teenagers to speak their minds by posting opinions. I ask young people what changes they would like to see so I can represent them in my role as an Enfield Youth Parliament member, he added. Jake, who is studying history, geography, politics and art at Winchmore School in Laburnum Grove, Winchmore Hill, said, as members of the National Youth Parliament, Giles and I are representing 30,000 young people from Enfield. I want to make a difference to the life of young people. The UK Youth Parliament was created for young people to have a say and make their opinions known across Britain. It tackles issues including education, improving public transport and preparing for careers. The chosen national campaign for 2013 is Curriculum for Life. Chauncey, a pupil at Highland School in World's End Lane, Grange Park, added, I'm finding the Youth Parliament really interesting. I enjoy meeting new people. I think it's a great stepping stone into politics. I find that I'm really interested in the financial side of it. It's good to know where the money is going and how it's being spent.
Nursery children dressed up as their favourite storybook characters to raise money for charity. Staff at the Angel Place Nursery in 4 Street, Edmonton, organised a week of events as part of the Chatterbox Challenge in order to raise money for I Can, a charity for children with speech and language difficulties. Nursery manager Maria Nicolou said that the youngsters combined Thursday's event with World Book Day, which saw children and teachers nationwide dressing up as a range of characters. Among the costumes chosen by the children at Angel Place were the Gruffalo, Spider-Man, the Hungry Caterpillar and Rapunzel. On Friday, the children dressed in pyjamas for a teddy bear's picnic, and earlier in the week they enjoyed puppet shows, visits to a library and interactive storytelling. Maria added, the children have loved doing all of this, and the parents have enjoyed it too and have been very involved.
A total of 5 people in Enfield were charged with crimes following a day of police raids. Police used warrants to arrest 14 people in the borough on Wednesday, February the 27th, under the citywide Operation Big Wing. Of the arrests, suspects were charged with burglary, handling stolen goods, theft, drug offences and aggravated vehicle taking. 7 people were bailed following further investigation, and no further action was taken against one individual. More than 600 people were arrested throughout the city during the operation, with 140 people being charged to date. Simon Byrne, Assistant Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, said, Big Wing means we can choose the time, the place and the scale at which we mobilise the Met to put criminals on the back foot. More than 600 arrests in a single day is a great effort in terms of protecting Londoners.
A competition to find the best entrepreneurs and business startups in the borough is now open. The Enfield Innovation Competition, which was launched last week, aims to find the best new businesses, products and social enterprises in the borough. There are 4 main categories for the competition: the best trading business, startup, social enterprise and school or college. Cash prizes, workshops with industry experts and scholarships are among the prizes on offer to those who win. The competition is funded by Enfield Borough Council and run in collaboration with North London Chamber of Commerce and the Innovation Centre at Middlesex University. Cabinet Member for Business and Regeneration, Councillor Del Goddard, said, "We want to work with people in the borough and help encourage and reward those with fantastic and innovative business ideas in Enfield." The deadline for entry is Monday, March the 25th.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Audrey, Elizabeth, Malcolm and myself, Francis, and Dave on the controls, it's
Goodbye.
Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking newspaper.